United States has just pulled off a major show of force, successfully tracking and simulating the interception of a hypersonic missile. In a test dubbed Stellar Banshee, the Navy and the Missile Defense Agency tracked the missile traveling at hypersonic speed and virtually shot it down. It marks a big step in defending against high-speed threats, with top generals saying the Aegis weapon system will play a vital role in the next generation integrated air and missile defense system.
Second Ezra chapter 16 and verse 12. The earth quaketh and the foundations thereof. The sea ariseth up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also, before the Lord and before the glory of his power. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. First off, and give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone that teach and rule well, and as always, peace and salutations unto the elect. All right, so Brother Benaiah from the Great Millstone Dallas branch coming back at you with a quick lesson. And as you can see from the video, all right, and as you see when you look out into the planet Earth, everything that's taking place, the Lord is working on the minds of these particular kings and the nations, all right, and getting everybody into the mindset of war, all right. You have these particular nations, advancing their technologies, all right, and ultimately all this is being done, all right, to fulfill prophecy. You see, to fulfill prophecy in these end times with the destruction of Babylon. You see, and these arrows are not gonna miss. You see, Esau is shooting down hypersonic missiles and trying to show force. Well, that's not gonna stop the will of the Lord from coming to pass, man. All right, Joel chapter 2 tells you that, which we're gonna get that as well. But just like it says in verse 13, I'm gonna read it one more time. Second Ezra 16 and verse 13. It says, "For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow; his arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world." All right, because what do these arrows represent? Let's keep going. It says, "Behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundations of the earth. Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backwards, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon the earth shall not return again." All right, and the arrows can represent, plagues like famine. All right, when you go into the book of Ezekiel, all right, let's get it, chapter 7. It's like in chapter 5 and verse 16. It says, and I'm gonna get straight to it, when I send upon them the evil arrows of famine, which shall be their destruction, in which I will send to destroy you, and I will increase the famine upon you, and will break your staff of bread. You see, so these arrows represent plagues, which those ICBM missiles, as you've seen, all right, on the screen, are a plague. All right, let's go to the book of Zechariah, chapter 14, to prove that point. You see, because it's whether you people believe it or not, this is going to be the fashion on which Babylon the Great, America, is going to be destroyed. All right, you have particular Israelite camps, one body in Dallas, who mock, the miracles of the Lord. They mock the power of the Lord, the chariots, and they mock the missiles. You see, and you have people, you know what I'm saying, amongst it, not only them, but other Israelite groups. You have Jake that's in these Christian churches. When they hear the message of of the Lord via the prophets, the true prophets of the Lord go out. All right, they don't believe that these weapons are going to be used, man. What you got to understand, like it says in the book of Malachi, chapter 4:1, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven. Now, what's going to cause that day to burn as an oven, man? Well, these particular weapons that you've seen on the screen. But let's get this in Zechariah chapter 14. Let's go to verse 12 to prove that point about these missiles being a plague as well. Okay. Matter of fact, before I get this, let's go to that Malachi, since I quoted it. It says, Malachi 4:1, "For behold, the days cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch." All right. So these missile defense system, these hypersonic missile defense system that Esau is making, all right, and showing that he's shooting down hypersonic missiles, that's not going to stop, all right, what the Lord has already ordained for this place, man. You see, because like I said in the book of Joel, it tells you that the Spirit of the Lord is gonna guide those arrows. We just read in 2nd Ezra chapter 16 about when he shoots that arrow, they're not gonna miss. They're not gonna miss their target. All right. So let's get this in, like I said, let's get this in the book of Zechariah, chapter 14 and verse 12, to prove that point about the missiles, all right, also being a plague, man. All right, Zechariah 14 and 12, and this shall be, and this shall be the plague wherein the Lord shall smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. You see, now what is gonna make that happen, man? What weapon or what can actually make that happen? Well, an ICBM missile. All right, you seen that, if you watch that movie Oppenheimer, or you got on YouTube and you seen these particular videos of how Esau dropped the atomic bomb and the effects that it had. All right, these are going to be the weapons that are going to be used, man. All right, to bring forth the destruction of Babylon the Great. You see, because the scriptures, man, whether you niggas believe it or not, this is what the scriptures are talking about when it's talking about arrows, man. When you read in the book of Jeremiah, all right, like I said, Joel chapter 2, which I'm going to go to, all right, the scriptures speak, all right, of the ICBM missiles, all right, but it doesn't plainly say ICBM missiles. You know what I'm saying? Just like the scriptures call Babylon, just like the scripture doesn't flat out say America. You see, you have to be given a spirit to understand these things, man. Like it says in the book of Amos chapter 3 and verse 6, the Lord revealeth the secrets unto his servants the prophets. You see, starting with our apostles and our elders on down. You see, and us as well. You see, and it's only for us, all right, and the believers out there to believe on the report of the prophets, man, that this place is going to be destroyed in that fashion. All right, because just as Noah prophesied of something that never took place before, that it was going to rain. You see how the Lord used to water the earth via the dew. You see that water was going to come from the sky. All right, well, we're telling them it's going to this is the fashion and way in which way the Lord is going to destroy this place, man. You see. Because no other time, never before on the planet Earth has a weapon, all right, been created with the destruction power of this weapon that we see today, the thermonuclear missile, man. You see? So let's get this. Let's get this. In Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse. Let me see. Is that you? I'm tripping. Is it Jeremiah 50? Yeah, it is Jeremiah 50. Salaki, give me 1 second, because I had pulled it up on Let's see. Here we go, verse 14. Matter of fact, let me see. See if I can start up a little bit. I'm gonna start at verse 13. Jeremiah 50 and 13. It says, because of the wrath of the Lord, it shall not be inhabited. Talking about Babylon, it says, but it shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues. It says, put yourselves in array against Babylon round about. All ye that bend the bow, shoot at her. Spare no arrows, for she have sinned against the Lord, man. Okay. So I just went to Chat GPT. You know what I'm saying? As you can see, I had this article pulled up, but I found the actual video going into that the U.S. Shooting down that hypersonic missile. But I went to Chat GPT. You know what I'm saying, and put in about Jeremiah 50 and 40. So I asked Chat GPT, Jeremiah 50 and 14 is the arrows talking about nuclear missiles, ICBM. It says Jeremiah 50 and 14 said KJV says, put yourselves in array against Babylon round about. All ye that bend the bow, shoot at her. Spare no arrow. All right, for she has sinned against the Lord. And even all right, even when Esau has a particular missile that he shoots that malfunctions, what do they call it? What they call it, a broken arrow. You see? So these are all things, man. The Lord just is like it says in Isaiah 44, he's confirming the words of his prophets, man. All right. But going back, let's continue to read. It says this verse is part of a prophetic judgment against Babylon, calling for its total destruction as a consequence of its sins. Yeah, A total destruction, man. You seen the what? Like I said, there's never been a weapon, all right, that was created that had the destruction power, all right, of the ICBM missiles, man, nuclear weapons. You see, just like it says in Joel chapter 2, talks about us a great and a strong people, all right, and it shall never be none like it after. You see, to the years of many generations, roughly paraphrasing. Okay, it says the imagery of the archer surrounding and attacking Babylon with arrows is a metaphor of a massive military assault. It says now, to your question, are the arrows referring to nuclear missiles or ICBMs? It says traditional interpretation. Traditionally, the arrows in this passage are understood to be literal arrows, symbolic of ancient warfare. It says Jeremiah is using the language and imagery familiar to people in his time. You see, just like I said, the scripture is not going to say flat out, and the Lord is going to destroy it with ICBM. No, it said you ain't gonna find ICBM or nuclear missile, all right, written in the scriptures, man. Okay, that's why the scriptures call this doctrine, all right, a mystery. It was given unto you to know the mysteries. The Lord revealed the secrets unto his servants, the prophets. You see, so these are hidden things that's only revealed, all right, to the initiated. You see, and just as we tell you bonehead niggas out there, just like it says, Jeremiah is using the language and imagery familiar to people in his time. You see, so Jeremiah is seeing, all right, in comparing these missiles, he's seeing a vision from the Lord, and he's seeing this missile being shot from one end of the earth to the other, and it looks like what? It looks like an arrow being shot from a bow. You see, so he's like I said, he's referring, he's using, like I said, imagery familiar with people of his time, man. You see, that's the only thing that Isaiah could compare it to. Like, damn, that looks like an arrow being shot. You see, let's continue on. It says the prophecy was partially fulfilled when the Medes and the Persians conquered Babylon in 539 BC, and that's not true. Okay, because when you continue reading in this chapter in Jeremiah 50, it tells you this is speaking about this Babylon, the daughter of Babylon. Okay, because when you continue reading down, and I think in verse 33, it tells you what, that Judah, all right, and Israel were oppressed together. Then you know that wasn't talking about ancient Babylon, because where was the northern kingdom when we went captive in ancient Babylon? Well, they was already gone. They was already out the land, man. That lets you know that this is talking about this Babylon, this last Babylon, the daughter of Babylon. Okay, like it says in Isaiah, like it says in the book of Psalms 137, who ought to be destroyed. Okay, let's continue going. It says modern or prophetic interpretations. It says some people, especially with futuristic or prophetic circles, interpret these verses symbolically and apply them to end time scenarios. It says in this lens, arrows are seen as metaphorical or modern long range weapons like missiles or ICBMs. You see, yeah, because like I was saying, Jeremiah was comparing them to things like a arrow being shot from the bow. A bow and arrow, all right, is a long range weapon, just as these missiles are a long range weapon. All right, it says bending the bow could symbolize launching missile strikes. Exactly. Job chapter 20. All right, which we can go there too. All right, it talks about that iron. He's gonna flee from that iron weapon. All right, real quick. Let's go to that. All right. It's the book of Job, chapter 20. All right. And I'm gonna start let me see where I can start at. May start up a little bit. Man, I might start at 20. It says, verse 20, Job 20 and 20. Surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. He shall not say, he shall not save of that which he desires. Yeah, meaning this new world order. Okay, they're not going to be able to fully establish it, man. It says, there shall none of his meat be left, there shall no man look for his goods. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. Yeah. You see? He's going to be in straits. He's not going to be, ultimately, the Lord is going to frustrate his plans, like it says in the book of Isaiah, chapter 44, if I'm not mistaken. All right. He frustrates the tokens of the diviners. You see, well, he's gonna frustrate this man's plans. You see, and every hand of the wicked is going into your everyday laborer. Okay, because everybody is going to they want to get a piece of this goddamn devil, man. Okay, but let's keep going. Verse 23, it says, and when he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury upon it of his wrath upon him, and it shall rain it upon him while he is eating. This is the point. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. You see, it says it is drawn and cometh out of the body. You see, what is that body? Going into those missile silos, man. You see, those particular things where they hold the missiles, man. The silos where they actually hold the missiles before, you know what I'm saying? Before they need to press the button and they come out and fire off into the sky, man. It says, yea, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall, terrors are upon him. You see? So this is talking about this is speaking and see, you have to be given this secret, man, to truly understand and believe, all right, on what the scriptures say, man. You see, this is going into these missiles. Okay, so let's go back to that. All right, let's go back to this right here. It says in a metaphor in a modern and prophetic interpretation, it says arrows are seen as metaphorical for modern long range weapons like missiles or ICBMs. Bending the bow could symbolize launching missile strikes. All right, like we just read, it says Babylon is sometimes interpreted symbolically as a modern empire or corrupt world system, possibly even the United States in some prophetic interpretation. You see, even Esau, hey man, even Esau's AI is you know what I'm saying, speaking against this nigga, man. It is talking about USA, the Americas, man. Okay, the United States of America, man. That is Babylon. All right, the great that you read about. All right, it says bottom line. It says biblically or literally, the arrows and ancient weapons used by invading armies. Let me see. It says symbolically and prophetically. Some interpret them as missiles, but this is not a universal accepted view and depends on theological perspectives. You see, they don't believe it, but the scriptures talk. Hey, it's in the blue letter. We're gonna pull it, man, in the book of Joel, chapter 2. That's hey, that's going. Hey, Joel is speaking about the missiles, man. Okay, which want to get that. So I said, would ICBM missiles be modern long-range weapons compared to the arrow in ancient times? It says, yeah, that's a fair and insightful comparison. It says, in ancient times, arrows were among the longest range weapons available. Archers could strike from a distance, often before the enemies was even within sword or spear range. It says, so when prophets like Jeremiah mentioned arrows, it symbolizes distant attacks, precision strikes, in mass bombardment, right? Because these missiles are going to be shot off. All right, what is that? Revelation chapter 9 and verse 16. There are 200,000, roughly paraphrasing, going to the 200 million war. Them 200 million missiles are going to touch this place. You see? We say that to a nigga. They ain't. I Googled it. Don't say them no 200 million missiles is even made. But the niggas will forget that one missile can hold multiple warheads, man. You see, and these nations are still creating missiles as we speak, man. You see, preparing up and gearing up for war, man. Okay, I think when you look at it, man, I think they said like one missile can hold up to 10 to 16 warheads, man. You see, and it's probably even more. You see, probably more than that, man. Probably in the 20s, man. You see. Well, let's keep going. It says, in this sense, ICBMs are modern or a modern parallel, long range. They can travel across continents, high impact, far more devastating than arrows, obviously. But the idea of overwhelming from a distance assault still applies. Mass scale, just like a rain of arrows could symbolize an all-out attack. A missile barrage fits that image today. It says, yes. So, yes, if you're reading Jeremiah 50 and 14 through a modern and prophetic lens, ICBMs are logical equivalent to arrows in the term of their functions. Long range, devastating weapons used to utterly destroy a target. That's right, man. You see? So, what are you niggas talking about, man? The missiles are in the scriptures. Now, we're going to get it too, man. Let's go to the book of Joel. All right, and like I said, man, these things are before we get Joel, let me get this in Isaiah, because these things are gonna be used, man. The Lord don't create nothing in vain. Isaiah 54 and verse 16. It says, "Behold, I created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. For I have created the waster to destroy." You see, the Lord created everything with a purpose, man. You see, and that's why these weapons are being made, man. They're being made for a purpose. And what are their purpose? To destroy Babylon the Great, man. Okay. And the Lord is going to use these nations to do so. Okay, when you read Revelation 17, Revelation 18, what did it say? That the Lord the Lord put it on them to give up themselves, man, real quick. It's a lot if I'm everywhere with it too. So, but like I said, Lord wouldn't is edifying. Uh Revelations 14, and I'll get straight to the point. It says in verse 17, for the most high put in their hearts to fulfill his will. All right, that's a cut right there. There's no free will. All right. It says, and to agree to give their kingdoms unto the beast, all right, until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. But when you read up, I should have started up in verse 16. Salakia. It says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. And we seeing that's taking place now. Okay, NATO and the EU, the strife and tension that Trump is causing between NATO and the EU, Canada, man, all America's allies, man. You see, the Lord is going to put in their heart to turn against this place, man. And all of them are going to shoot their arrows. That's why the Lord said in Jeremiah 50, all that you count round about, shoot all your arrows, spare none, man. Spare not. You see, roughly paraphrasing. But it says, they shall hate the whore and shall make her desolate and naked and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Okay, and the same thing, you can read the same thing. Okay, the destruction of this place in Revelations 18. Okay, verse 2, talking about Babylon is falling, Babylon is falling. All right, let me see. See. Let me see. He talks about the torments, the plagues. It says, verse 8, Revelation 18 and 8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire. For strong is the Lord who judgeth her. Yeah, this place is going to be done by fire, bro. You see? Let's go to, it tells you, Isaiah 9 and 5. This battle shall be with burning and fuel of fire. Okay? Let's go to Psalm 7 and 13 real quick, and then I'll get that Joel to end it off. Psalm 7 and 13. It says, he had also prepared for him the instrument of death. He ordained his arrows against the persecutors. You see, these arrows are going into those missiles, man. So without further ado, let's get Joel chapter 2 and end it off. It's Joel chapter 2 and verse 1. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, it is nigh at hand. A day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of cloud and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon a mountain, a great people and a strong, there have not been ever the like, neither shall any more after it. Shall, like it says, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. Yeah. So this great people and strong is talking about, all right, the ICBM missiles, man. You see, because like I said like I said earlier, man, there's never been a weapon ever created in the history, all right, that had the devastation, the destruction power of these ICBM missiles that we have today. And that's not for a reason, man. You see, like I said, the Lord created everything, like we read in Isaiah 54. You see, he created the waster to destroy. You see, they have a purpose, and their purpose is to be created for the destruction of Babylon the Great. All right, it says, a fire devoureth before them. It says, and behind them a flame burneth. Yeah, what is that fire? What is that fire that devoured before them? Well, that's those warheads that's in the front of that. All right, it's in the tip of that missile, man. You see, that's that fire that burned before them, and that flame. It's in the behind them a flame burning. What is that? That rocket propulsion. You see, that fire you seen on that video shooting out the back of that rocket. All right, to shoot it off, man. You see. It says, the land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yea, and nothing shall escape. You see, because when these things, nothing shall escape them. Because when these things hit, ain't nothing gonna be able to escape it. You see? And like I said, the land is as the Garden of Eden before it. All right, you see it just go look at those atomic bombs dropping. It was as a Garden of Eden. Everything was looked at as a beautiful city before those missiles, all right, hit Hiroshima and Nagasaki, man. Then what was left after a desolate wilderness? Verse 4. The appearance of them is like the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on the top of mountains shall they leap. Like the noise of a flame of fire that devoured the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. You see, that's talking about the sound that they're gonna be making when they get shot off, man. All right, this is what Joel is seeing. This is what Jeremiah was seeing. Okay, verse 6: before their faces the people shall be much pain. All faces shall gather blackness. Yeah, When you go into that word blackness, it goes into a flush of anxiety. You see, just like the nuclear scare that happened with the brother in Hawaii. You see all those people. You had people giving up the ghost when they got those alerts that the ICBM was about to hit Hawaii. You see, but the men of the Lord are going to be in the spirit of that brother, man. You see, that brother, the elder down there in Hawaii, man. You see, and when it actually does take place, it's gonna. Hey, man, you're gonna get them alerts the same way, man. You people gonna get them alerts, and then those missiles are gonna come down, and then the electors, you're gonna see the elect being beamed up, man. They're gonna be brought through the fire, man. You see, verse 7, it says, "They shall run like mighty men; they shall climb the wall like men of war. They shall march every one on his way, and they shall not break rank, or they shall not break their ranks." Yeah. You see, what does a wall represent? What a wall represents a protection. You see, a defense. Okay, what are those wall in these times? Those nuclear, those missile defense systems. You see, they're gonna climb the wall. They're gonna get past them, man. You see, so he saw you can create a hypersonic missile defense system, but it's not gonna work. Why? Verse 8. Neither shall one. It says, like it said, they shall not break their ranks. Verse 8. Neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk every one in his path, and when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. You see, because the spirit of the Lord is going to be all right on those missiles. They're going to hit their mark, man. You see, even when a missile hit it, the Lord is the missile going to keep going, man. You see, because the spirit of the Lord is going to be on it. When you get that word, when it says, and when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. Let's go into that word sword. All right. It's Strong's H7973. Allah. I think I'm saying that right. It says shalach. All right. It says a weapon, a missile. You see, a missile, a weapon. So here it is. You got missiles in the scriptures, a missile of attack. You see, so you have missiles in the scriptures, man. Back in our point of what our apostles and what our elders been teaching, what we teach here at Great Millstone, man. Because what we're saying is true, okay, and it's according to the will, and that's exactly what's gonna happen, man. Whether you people believe it or not, these weapons are gonna be used, okay. So here it is, more evidence to back us that hey, back up that starting with our apostles and elders on down that we are the true prophets of the Lord, man. You see. And the missiles are in the scriptures, man. That's what's gonna make that day burn as an oven. You see, the day of the Lord, man. There's gonna be a thick darkness, man, because hey, those mushroom clouds are gonna cover the skies, man. It's gonna blot out the sun. You see. So with that, like I said, Lord, winning this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Dash, double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone and teaching well. As always, peace and salutations unto the elect. Shalom.